I was like, man, I almost thought that was mine for a second. I was like, did I turn my music off? Oh,
yeah. We try to have a little bit more of a kind of hardcore vibe for this one because, the gloves are off to some extent. So everybody, welcome to the stream. Just bit of an impromptu stream, not the usual Cool Hang Luke. This is more of a Cool Hang debate. I don't know whether the debate is going to be fair because I think I'm more against it than for it, but we can just hash it out. I know somebody in the comments said, let's go with some leaks. We're not doing leaks. We're specifically dissecting this Death Star set. So before we get going, let me set this off and now this is quite unusual because our show is more family friendly, but this is why it's a little bit unusual. So if you're looking for the normal Cool Hang Luke lovey-dovey stuff, you're in the wrong place.
Watch out for that.
Because we got Hive on board, the last thing I want to do is clip his wings. So we're gonna go in on these sets, okay? We're gonna go in. And what I will say is, if you haven't already done so, go and check out Hive's kind of unusual Pure Rant Fury, where he kind of does it better than anybody. But I just felt like after watching it, and I mean, it was a fantastic. I mean, he rants about a few other things as well, but he does go in on this set a little bit. But I just felt like there was some more fire in the basement from him. And I know when we covered it on Cool Hang Luke Bricks Cool Hang Luke on Sunday Gone, we covered it a little bit, but I felt like people wanted more. So here we are. And I know me and Padawan probably could have talked all night on it. So here we go, guys.
Did some good talking points though on it, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so we're going to get into it. It's going to be, it could get grimy, but we'll see how it goes. So is it a Death Star or are we giving it a Death Stare? That's the general consensus. So first of all, I think Hive, you're on Team Death Stare, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And Padawan, you're on Team Death Star, right?
I'm in the same house as Ryan, and Ryan said it perfectly. They're going to charge $1,000 for it. It better be fucking perfect, absolutely perfect, from figs to build to whatever. It needs to hit the money. No mistakes at all. That's mine. But I am for it.
Well, I was watching his review of the what do you call it? What's the MIDI scale set that's due out in the next wave? January, I think. Wave.
You got the acclimator.
Acclimator.
Acclimator, yeah.
So, and he was really clear, which is, I have seen him say this before, and I think what you're saying is right. This applies to this Death Star in terms of like my acceptance of it. Is that if they do it right, because with the acclimator, what he's saying is it does seem overpriced for what you're getting, but the set is perfect. And for that reason, he has to, give us some credit. And I think if they do that with this, if they, like you said, if it's perfect, maybe I think it warrants that money. But obviously, looking from this far out, we have to, give our views now. So, but yeah.
I mean, my whole even starting point before even getting into it is I don't even want a $1,000 Death Star. Like their first $1,000 set, I don't even want it to be a Death Star. Wait, that's the set you want to be the first $1,000 set? The big gray ball?
yeah.
What would you have instead?
The Ghost.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
I keep saying, and nobody wants to agree with me, but I get it because it's not like that's not what they'd want their first $1,000 set. They want it to be something original trilogy, something very more obvious. You know what I mean? But like, I don't want a Death Star. We just had a Falcon. I know it's been a few years or whatever, several years, but it's like it's good enough. I don't know how much more they can do to improve that. You know what I mean? Like the Ghost is as girthy, if not girthier, than the Falcon, like same size and everything. So we can, and with inflation, you can already charge it to about $1,000. But if you include the Phantom with it, get a really awesome lineup of like some Rebels figs and stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's like for me, I just want something different. So that's where I'm even starting off at, let alone the whole $1,000 debate. Is like, I don't even want the Death Star. It's just, it's like out of all the stuff they could do, I mean, I get it, but so that's where I'm coming from right off the bat. But that's just me.
I say I agree with you. $1,000 Ghost would be insane. Like I would
imagine the detail.
You could almost make it minifigure scale. You could. Make it.
I'm pretty, because look, the Falcon is minifigure scale, right?
It's all close to.
I mean, it's about as close as you're really gonna get. I mean, so I just figure I get why a lot of people disagree with me about it, man. You know what I mean? But I just figure like that is a girthy ship, and then like I said, you include the Phantom with it, so that's an extra girthy little ship with it. Or make the Phantom the gift of purchase. No, that'd be really lame. That'd be like a dick move.
But looking at it from like Terminator's comment here, they're not going to do it purely because it's a much slimmer audience, and they're going to make money.
And I agree with that, but even I slightly disagree with it too, because we've had a lot of Ghost over the last couple of years, with Ahsoka and everything. I feel like it's going to come back with the movies. I mean, look, they did the Razor Crest. How much appeal does the Razor Crest have? I mean, and now the Razor Crest doesn't even exist.
Yeah, well, I think that's mainly down to the fact that the Mandalorian absolutely exploded after the tragic sequel trilogy, and they were just cash grabbing on that hard.
I agree. That's probably what it was. So I get the mathematical part of the business aspect of it, but it's just that's just my starting point. I'm like, Death Star, really? Okay, $1,000 for a big gray ball. I mean, and even if it's got a play interior, I don't care. I'm not playing with it, dude. I mean, for $1,000, I don't know what you're doing with it.
Yeah, because even if you did, say they did a play set, people like us aren't going to play with it. It goes on the shelf and it stays there as a display piece. And if they make it purely a display piece, like the Death Star 2, it's a robbery for $1,000 for $1,000. Absolute robbery.
Yeah.
So I find it very hard how they're going to win over the general like fan base.
Yeah, Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think there was a lot of talk that the first $1,000, if you like, or whatever set would have to be 2 UCS sets, and I think that was probably more what I would have expected. And I think, like you said earlier, Hive, you just didn't want it to be this ball. They've got to do a lot with it to warrant that decision. But I think they couldn't have gone wrong with 2 sets. And like you said, even if it was the Phantom and the Ghost, then 2 sets. And then maybe you get the other Phantom or the Phantom 2 as the GWP. I don't know. But
what about $1,000 supersized MBS set? Like Mos Eisley Cantina times like 3 in size, and that is your $1,000 set. I mean, that is also what they could do, and you could have multiple different UCS like MIDI scale sets all over the gaff.
The Cantina is also a fantastic set, man.
Really hard to display though. Really
it is an awkward display piece. But if you do have the right way to display it, but even, and then so. Another completely different type of debate is the cost and what you consider for kids to be playing with, like what you're affording to be kids, what's going to adults, what's going on display. Because like if you think about like the $1,000 Death Star, if they make it like playable, like play scale or whatever, you know what I mean? Are you buying that for your kids to play with? Because it would just seem like automatically $1,000 Lego set is going to be for adults.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's a matter of like what exactly are you doing with it? But like the Cantina. What was that? It was $250. I can't remember because I bought it as soon as it came out, like day one. So it was a different price even back then. But that's at least close enough. Like if my kid was a huge Star Wars fan and the Lego for Christmas, I'll drop a couple $100 to get you that Cantina. You know what I mean? But once you start getting past that, it's like,
there's no way I'd be spending $1,000 on a Lego set for my kid. There's no way.
So I think ultimately, in a way, the whole thing gets into where is Lego kind of going with some of this stuff. Like, who is the $1,000 set for? Obviously, it's going to be for adults. But even for adults, like I was bringing up the other day, is what type of adult is this set for? Because to drop $1,000 on a Lego set, I mean, you have to be having some sort of disposable income You know what I mean? Unless you're very, very frugal with your money, you know, put it on a credit card, you make your payments, or if you're like if you don't have kids, or
you're a super saver, like you see it coming in, you're like, I'll just say put a bit of money each buy every now and then until we get up to the point.
Right. And then how niche will it be? I mean, if enough of them sell, will they go like keep pushing this? Because my whole thing about like is what's going to be the line for everybody. And I think that the easiest way I've been trying to describe it is like CMF figs, because it's a small thing to think about. So right now they're $5 basically. Well, in America they're $5.
Yeah.
So, but where's everybody's line going to be at? $6, $7, $10? You know what I mean? You know, that's gonna, right. So, and I don't know what kind of game Lego is playing, but I feel like they're really putting themselves in a corner because they're just moving too fast with prices and stuff like that, because they're already known to be expensive. But like, I don't know, man. I'd be worried if I was them. Like, they're outpacing a lot of people. Like, everybody's noticing how especially this new wave with Star Wars, Harry Potter. You know what I mean? So it's like even the influencers are starting to say a little bit more than normal. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. I don't know. Now, I will say this: if you have money, you know, if you have the money to do it, man. I mean, I'm never going to shame anybody for buying a $1,000 Lego set. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I spent what $600 on the Razor Crest, so it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not. If you've got the money to do it, I think
there's multiple thousands on this shelf right here.
Dude, yeah, you and me both. Can you imagine just between you, me, and Luke, like how much money we all have invested in Lego? Yeah, and that's just the three of us, dude.
And that's just the shit that's here. There's stuff.
And that's just that's not including like backlog or
backlog.
It's fucked up, man.
Like I said yesterday, so I don't have the previous 2 Death Stars. I've been close to buying like one of them. I think the latest one, I've been close to buying it so many times, and Sam has said to me, "Well, don't you think there's another one that's going to come out soon?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're right. I'm going to hold off. It's been a while." And lo and behold, here we are. But I did say this has to be absolutely perfect. The GWP has to be absolutely amazing for me to buy this day one. Because if it's not perfect, I am not buying this. I would rather spend $1,000 on something I don't have that's retired, like the shuttle, the Lambert class shuttle, or the Superstar Destroyer. I don't have the Superstar Destroyer. Something big like that. That's what I would rather buy.
By the way, I'm really feeling that comment, Austin.
Yeah, what's the question at the panel? But what's the question? Are you asking us to agree? But yeah, I think I'd be more inclined to agree. But I think at 1,000, I don't know. I would have wanted full scale trees.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like think of what I was saying before. We get Ewok Village, we get the Endor bunker MBS, and we get a few other bits. Maybe a UCS style ATST that we haven't had in years, and you just bundle it all into one and go, "There's your $1,000 set." I'd be more happy with that than the big grey football.
Right.
Yeah. Because I honestly don't. I can see this. I can't see it being both.
See, the crazy thing is, I'm curious to see what it's going to look like, because look, I would pay, I don't know how much, I'd have to think about it, but I would pay good money for that Death Star too. You know, just as that display piece, man. I just, because you know it's iconic, because you know I say the gray ball thing, you know what I mean, but dude, I don't discard the Death Star, dude, on just how relevant it is to a Star Wars fan. You know what I mean? How meaningful it is. So that second one, dude. I would absolutely love to have that on display somewhere. You know what I mean? But what is this new one for $1,000, man? Like what? I mean, clearly it's probably gonna be overpriced. It's probably not gonna be. If you have something like that Death Star 2, you could put a lot of pieces in it, obviously, right?
Yeah, if I'm correct, I think out of the 3 of them, the Death Star 2 is ever so slightly bigger. Ever so slightly bigger.
I think so.
And I think that this set's going to be, again, ever so slightly bigger than the Death Star 2. So it'd be slightly bigger than all 3 of these. And my prediction is it's going to be not interchange, like you can, like a bookcase. So like, you know, those bookcase sets that like hit the hinge, they come together and they look really nice displayed, but then you can open it up. It's got hinges and it opens up. Like 100%. The Mountain Fortress and some of the like book sets that Harry Potter have done, and a few other loads that can't think. You know
something they could do to at least make it a little bit more worth it and it'd be the first time they've ever done anything like this. And I know they're probably not going to, because we probably would have heard something by now. But imagine if they made it light up.
Oh,
like a light kick came with it, like their first ever, whatever. You know what I mean?
And like
they sound like they haven't made light bricks before, huh?
A light brick and a sound brick, so you get like I don't know, lights on the laser, and it just.
And if they make it, obviously, I know a lot of people saying they don't want to see a micro scale. I get that part, but if they made a micro scale, but a big micro scale, imagine you have like all these different types of the ships, mini ships, microchips, whatever with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying at all it will not probably look awesome, because imagine like with the techniques they have now and the pieces they have now, they could probably make that thing look sick, especially if they make it as big as they could make it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this set is definitely going to be pushing a lot of our boundaries, like, because a lot of us will still drop like a few hundred up to several $100s maybe on a set. But now we're like, this is a whole different plateau. And I think a lot of us are going to be like trying to test our limits on what we could do. Because clearly a lot of us, if we want it, we'll either save up for it or be responsible, drop it on a credit card and make your payments. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, if Mrs. Hive wanted it, even if she didn't make as much money as she does, dude, yeah, she'll find a way to get it because she's responsible and like that, dude. She'll save. So yeah, maybe it's a goal. Maybe it's not necessarily a bad thing. Look, if Lego wants to make $1,000 set and somebody wants it, and I will admire anybody, man, that will figure out a way to work for it. You know what I mean? Like that's a big goal. I just, do you think
this is
what it looks like?
Well, this is why I came back to it, because I think I commented on yours, like, who's this for? Who's this for? You were saying in your rant stream, and I was just like, for lottery winners on acid. But, that's kind of tongue-in-cheek, really. But what it means is that this is for people who have got more money than sense, or who don't have the money, but just want it.
But you got to definitely have the money, because even if you don't have family or whatever, like, dude, I mean, you guys know. I mean, well, you guys are across pump. You still know, man. Like, stuff's expensive, man. I mean, like, everything's expensive, dude. You know what I mean? So it's like, but you can make it work. You just definitely would have to stick to the grind about it.
Well, if we were to break it down into these questions across the bottom, who do we think this is? So we know this is an 18+ set. It's UCS, so it's going to be collectors. Then are expecting to sell thousands of these.
Obviously
out the gate.
Members.
But yeah, well, I think even with that kind of cost value, they're probably going to be selective on who they send that to as well. It's
I would imagine so. Yeah.
I mean, I know they do that anyway, but this is going to be like luck of the draw, even for land.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll send like Solid Brick Studio one, whatever.
I tell you what, I was listening to your comments about David, and because I was in the kitchen at the time doing something or other. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I've got so many more, but I'll just keep it to myself for now. Yeah, I mean, clearly, look, like my wife's boss, he's the president of the hospital that they work at, and he invests in Lego. I haven't met him yet. He wants to meet me, but I haven't met him yet. But he doesn't do anything with Lego except for strictly invest in it. That's all he does. He just buys sets, lets them sit, lets them, increase some value. He'll buy one. I think any Star Wars fan that at least is close to six figures, like at least if you're up in the $80,000 a year range, yeah, you'll get one. Other than that, man, like I said, unless somebody just really wants it enough to work for it, you know what I mean? Lego's premium. That's what they keep pushing. And now
is this going to be? Is this going to be the death of the black box art, or do we think it's still going to be black box? Nothing special about it.
Well, you better have a Picasso on that box, man.
That's what I was. That comes under the how, really, because I was going to say, how are they going to market this? What do you think they're going to do different? Because this obviously breaks all records in terms of Lego sets, and even just Star Wars sets. So they've got to do something special with it. They can't just do run of the mill. In my opinion, they've got to do something different with it.
I mean, because think about this, dude. Even if, like, a lot of people, this is how I got most of my Lego, is you drop a credit card on it, okay? Let's just take out the interest rate. So I don't know, whatever interest rate you might have, hopefully it's in the very low single digits. My dumbass got a credit card with like a 21% interest rate. So that's why it's taken me so long to crawl out of debt. But all right, so you drop it on a credit card, even without the interest, man, let's say $1,000. So if you pay $100 a month on that credit card, what, it's still going to take you, 10 months to pay it off? So that's 100. So imagine if you like want to go a little more, frugal, like let's say $50. Then you're talking, 20 months. So it's like, and that's without interest. So even dropping on a credit card, where you can just pay it off, it's still going to take you a long time, man. You know what I mean? So
I think it's going to cost you a bit more than 1,000, isn't it? Because you've got sales tax afterwards as well to do.
And the weird thing to me is Lego doesn't really talk about this stuff. And land members don't talk about it really, I don't think, integrally the right way, if at all. Because, dude, you're talking about okay, I know adults can play with it, but essentially it started off as a children's toy. All right, we got the adult market into it, but now you're going from a Lego thing that can cost $5 all the way up to $1,000. I mean, that's quite a gap. And it's like they don't address it. Like, this set is really for this, class or whatever. Like, if you're making under this amount of money, you really should not even think about buying this or something. I mean, I know that definitely goes against business, but anyways,
just a quick, I'm just going to address the chat in a sec, but just a quick side cap. And this is kind of a rhetorical question, really, but I purposely picked this picture of the three because you can see all three on screen, but also it's in the shape of Mickey Mouse's head. And the question is, would we have ever had this set if the House of the Mouse wasn't in charge? I don't think so. But that's a pondering question. But look, if Papa Trip is right here, then you can't buy this. Can you, Padawan?
What's that?
Well, how old are you now? 29, right?
28.
All right. Okay, so you'll just scrape through if Papa Rant
just made it.
Where did 28 come from? Why did 28 pop into his head?
He just doesn't add 10 years to the 18 plus.
He's like, that's when your income should be going up a notch, right about 28. Then it'll go up again another 5-10 years.
Yeah.
I heard online for a D1V, absolutely. But so he's saying that, but he's still going to be D1B in it. But I can't buy a sealed for under a K.
You know what the real kick in the balls is? If we find out how much it actually costs Lego to make $1,000 set. Because if they said like $25 or something, dude.
I can't help but think that, in my mind, that one of the things that's been going through my mind is that I bet the finishing cost of it all, realistically, compared to any other set, let's just say, for example, they do a 70% markup. I think the finishing cost would have been around about $920, and they just thought, well, let's make chins wag, and let's just bump it up to that 1,000 because everyone's talking about what's the first 1,000, and then I can't help but think that they would have done a little bit of that. I ain't going to know until we see the set, and then we'll never know those figures anyway. But I can't help but think that they've just used that. I mean, here we are kind of feeding into that, if that is true, because we're doing streams about it. But but you can't help but think that it's like, I think they've used that as a kind of, well, we're close enough. Let's just push it. They ain't going to know. And that cheesed me off, So
some good comments out there too.
If they want sales out the door on day one, they need to market this fucking early, not leave it till like the last week to announce it.
100%, and that's why I don't think this is a leak.
Yeah, agreed.
This isn't this is they know about this. They've got to know about this.
So you're thinking this is what the governments do. The governments leak information, see what the public think about it, and then go, oh yeah, we're doing this.
I think that's exactly what's going on.
Not the government. I think Lego are doing it.
I've heard some stuff behind the scenes about it. I don't know what is exactly true or not, but yeah, I think that's exactly what's going on. So they can see the reaction. They can determine what the piece count will be because we don't know no piece counter yet either. I think there's a lot of things they're probably trying to figure out before they officially announce anything. You know what I mean? Because they probably got a couple different models to choose from. That's what I would think is going on because because this is such an absurd thing to leak if it's not true. I'm not saying, obviously we don't know 100%, but
wait, but this is a leak though, not a rumor, right? Are those two things separate?
No, I guess it's a rumor, not a leak.
I guess it's a rumor.
Yeah.
A leak would be like a photo of the box or something along them lines.
Right.
So I dropped the ball there. Okay, my apologies, guys. So this is a rumor, not a leak.
Yeah,
but these rumors that come out and the fact that other land members are speaking about it, it must be true. they wouldn't say anything about it if it was bollocks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so hard to say too. You know what I mean? Because, and as always, I blame this on Lego because they do this, man. They won't talk about stuff. They won't release information about stuff like officially until like a month before something comes out, and they do all this, man, just to throw everybody off, so we don't know how to even budget for nothing. You know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion about stuff. So, something though I've noticed, like, like Matthew was talking about Legos, the Rolex of plastic toys. It's just very weird to me. And I brought this up the other night about like, what if you take out like really expensive things that adults collect, you know what I mean? As far as like maybe like official movie props, official artwork, stuff like that. But if you get into like toys, what other toy is pushing several $100s to $1,000 sets? I mean, I guess you could maybe say HasLab.
Yeah, I was going to say HasLabs. Their Ghost they brought out, by the way, was absolutely fantastic. And
Damn,
it was,
dude,
I am so
HasLab,
pissed I didn't pre-order it. Like, I was that close. But I think at the time I bought the Star Destroyer, and I was like, I can't drop over 1,000 in 1 month on this. And then I missed the window.
Besides some HasLab stuff, maybe, not even all of it, just some of it. And then maybe some statues, how like every once in a while you see some statues that are like thousands of dollars or whatever. But like, I don't know, man. I'm like, I don't know. It just seems like for me, I'm all about capitalism. I'm all about making some money. Don't get me wrong. I mean, clearly I like buying their stuff. I'll spend some money on stuff, but it just feels like they're really getting pretentious. And it is the whole reason I had my rant last Sunday, whatever it was the other night.
Monday.
Because it was more than just the Death Star. I just wanted to have a broader conversation of like, where is Lego going with these prices, man? I mean, because I just feel like a lot of us have obviously been pulling back a little bit, at least a little bit. But then your average parent, I mean, I just don't know. I just remember when I was a parent. I mean, I'm still a parent, but when my kid was young and I was buying toys and stuff, like even once in a while I'm sure I would have looked at the price and been like, that is not worth it. I'll get them some Mega Blocks or something, man, if they want blocks that bad or something. I don't know.
I used to day one buy stuff all the time, like an idiot.
Yeah.
And I think the straw that broke the camel's back, I think was it the September wave last year when all the Rebuild the Galaxy stuff come out, and I was just like, this shit is not worth it at this price range.
Yeah, because and that's the thing that gets us, because we love the sets or the figs. I mean, we definitely can complain, don't get me wrong, but it's not like we don't love the stuff or we don't think they're great designs, great ships, great, we get excited, man, but it's like and now, I know we all deal with FOMO and all that too, it's something we all deal with, we battle with.
I think, right, when people talk about the value of sets and stuff, I always think to myself that, and obviously I had that same kind of, that dawned on me, that I was like, look, I know these sets are going to go down in price. It's not like they get to the point where they're only reduced when there's like so many left. It literally goes down sometimes within a couple of months. And to me, it just kind of dawned on me that I was like, right, I know it's going to go down in price. What's the point? Especially the situation I was in, where I was taking them home and stacking them in a pile of unbuilt sets anyway, right? So it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. I came to my senses, and afterwards I was just thinking, normal. So Lego are kind of shooting themselves in the foot by doing this reduction, because they know people are doing it, and therefore people will wait to do it, and therefore less people will pay the full price. However, if they never intend on anybody buying those full prices, and they purposely add an extra margin to it, which I think they do, and then aggressively get the people, so it's almost like, right, we're releasing it at this price, it's not worth that price, but we'll have some idiots who will pay it, and we'll just laugh behind their back. But this is the actual price we're going to go down to. And as they see that, those other idiots who didn't buy it will see that aggressive price reduction down, and they'll be jumping over each other to get to it. And it's just like, and we all fall for it. So I think whether you pay full price or whether you go and run out and get it when it goes in a deal, they're quids in and they're laughing at us. So
the funny thing is, for you, Hive, even if this dropped to like 30% off, that's still $700.
Dude, I know.
I think it's going to be. I think it's not. Like I think I said it to you. What set was it? I think it was the TIE Interceptor. So the TIE Interceptor technically is more expensive for us than it was for you, because of the exchange rate, this and the other, so it's higher for us. And I think this will be the same. So I think this is going to be not £1,000. It's going to be about £900, which I think is about $1,100. That's what I reckon it's going to be. And even if that's 30% off, even if that's 30, because they basically what they do is they try and push some of the VAT onto us. That's why our prices are more expensive. It's the same with like Brazilian shit, like their taxes. Basically, Lego take their taxes.
That's why, like, I was talking about this actually a couple of weeks ago about the perception of, because now because of the internet and everything, we're obviously friends with people across the world. You know what I mean? So the perception we get from like, oh, over in the UK they got stuff cheaper than us. Oh, people in Australia it's way more expensive. And I mean, it might be to a degree, but the thing that we don't know, I don't know what it's like to live over in the UK. Like you guys probably have higher tax rates and all kinds of stuff that takes into factor. You know what I mean? So it's not the same. Like you guys still feel like it's probably $1,000. You know what I mean? Just the same way we do. It's just it's a different kind of way to look at it. So some really interesting comments out there, man. I noticed Ultra says, despite the price, I think this will sell well. I don't think $1,000 is a ceiling. Sadly, I agree. But I'm dying to see how well it will sell. I mean, because I feel like we can at least kind of maybe look at a comparison maybe to the Falcon or the AT-AT, because those were like, what, the $800 range? I mean, it's still cheaper, but not. God, I hate to even say it because it sounds so privileged to say like, oh, $200 isn't that much, more expensive, but it really is. I mean, I mean, the Falcon and AT, I'll just stick with the AT-AT because that's the most recent one that came out, and that thing sold pretty well, dude. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like that didn't sell well at all. Maybe it wasn't like crazy, but I feel like it did pretty good. And I mean, the Falcon's been consistently selling for years now. So I agree, Ultra. I agree.
Well, it's like you look at the Falcon. If you start collecting Lego and you like Star Wars, the Falcon's like it's like the cherry on top.
It really is a beautiful.
It is the one you want.
Like it's not a great basketball, man. Like it's a beautiful ship.
Yeah. Rebuilding it now is a nightmare.
Yeah.
But I've left this comment up for a while because I think we have to add, if we want to answer this question across the board, we have to add a hypothetical because obviously we don't know what the set's going to look like. It could be, a display piece. Hopefully it won't, and I don't think it will be. But if it's a display piece, obviously, it'll be different.
I mean, I feel like 20 to 22 is the first number that just pops in my head.
I said this is gonna be a 20+ fig. And I think that because I think this isn't going to be just a display set. It's going to be like a display set and an MBS set rolled up into one. And I think it's got to have that 20+ figs. It's got to have the most figs out of any Lego Star Wars set.
It's got to have some rad figs, man. And let's wait real quick. Just everybody in chat too. Like, what figs? Is there any figs they could put in this set that we don't have that makes sense to go into the Death Star?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I couldn't think of much that we haven't already got.
Are you thinking Death Star 1 and 2?
Whatever.
I think either or, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because if it's both, well, actually, it doesn't matter because this would be the first one. But it's a Lego, like a cat, not a brick built, but a Dianoga. Like we've got the Wampa and the, but a Dianoga from in the. So one of those.
Galen Erso's a good one. I mean, I know it would make sense for the original trilogy, but just knowing that he defined it, I mean, that would be
Galen
a good one, Coop.
Galen Erso is probably I think Galen Erso is your exclusive fig you're looking for.
And imagine how expensive that Galen Erso would be, dude. One of a kind, an awesome fig, combining different movies, and it's in $1,000 set.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
How many sets have we only had? I might be wrong here, but isn't Tarkin only been in ones? Like a good, like a decent Tarkin's only been in like one set in the last sort of like 5 or 6 years.
There's only been 2 Tarkins anyway, haven't there?
Yeah, one's like old as shit, and then there's
with the round hairpiece. Yeah, because I remember seeing one on sale.
Ooh, Stud Lake. George Lucas.
I'm falling behind on these comments.
I don't think they'll do it. I
mean, George Lucas would probably make the most sense, honestly.
Oh, it would 100%, but I think Disney would turn around. Disney, in part of their
their
bullying, would be like,
they'd rather see Mickey Mouse in there.
Exactly. This is the new House of Mouse.
Those bastards. Man,
But let's think. You're gonna get Darth Vader. You're gonna get Palpatine. You're gonna get Stormies. You might get you're gonna get
the
maybe
Royal Guards.
yeah. You might get the Royal Guard. You're probably gonna get something like what's his like Admiral Pyatt. You're gonna get Tarkin. You're gonna get
the whole council of the
general. You're gonna get yeah. You're gonna get like the whole like the Imperials of the Round Table. You get Wolf Yaren because
I've got one out of left field. It probably falls into the same thing as Galen Erso because it's not specifically, but I think if they do the original Anakin Skywalker, what's his name? Sebastian Stan. Anakin Skywalker. Wait, no stats.
No, you're on about
Sebastian Shaw. Sorry.
Yeah.
If they they do,
I did a whole rant about that and pissed the Anakin fans off because I was mad they changed it.
Yeah, well, I know obviously it's synonymous with the end of the second Death Star, I guess. But I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of that would really kind of, because this is what I was going to say is that when it comes to minifigures, there's no way we can tell because obviously. But you're right, Padawan. It has to be if they market. This goes back to the marketing question as well. The marketing is the biggest, most pieces, probably most cost. They also have to say things like, I think they should. It's got to have the most figures. It's got to have the most printed pieces that have ever been in a set. It's got to be like top of everything, I think that's the only thing that's really going to sell it.
I'll tell you, man, God help them if they make some mistakes.
Three things
you don't make mistakes for $1,000 set, man, because that $1,000, whoever's buying $1,000 set is an insane, hugely Star Wars fan, not just some like person that's just in it for a fad or in it because it's cool or just a casual fan. Like Mrs. Hive, she loves Star Wars, but not like we love Star Wars. She's not gonna spend $1,000 on a Star Wars set, man.
No, you're right.
Oh, those old creeps that followed the Emperor in Return of the Jedi. What those? Yeah, that would be a good one too, right? And they've never done them, right?
Yeah, in the purple outfits.
Yeah, I forgot what they're called. There's something to do with the Sith, though, like Sith priest or something like that.
How big is the box going to be? That's a good question. Well, Studlake brings up a good point here. 3 things noticeably larger than previous models. And I don't know whether maybe necessarily larger, but more fleshed out, certainly. Paneling that looks near perfect. So if they're going to do something like they did with these Death Star 1 playset type things, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Padawan. If they're going to, what they should do, if I would be sort of satisfied with it, is to do like that second Death Star UCS, sort of maybe size, but open it up, and then the internal is your kind of sections, like you said, rather than it be on the outside like this, where it doesn't really look like the Death Star at all. It just looks like, a 3D hollow chess kind of game more than anything else. So, but yeah, paneling and 5+ meaningful exclusives. So that not necessarily minifigures, but like I said, stickers, printed bricks, maybe a UCS panel that's different to the previous ones, maybe bigger. I don't know.
Dude, I got a bad feeling though, man.
Just off a quick little bit of research, there's about 5. These are 5 people that were on the council at the Death Star that haven't got figs. If I'm pretty sure haven't got figures. I put it in the chat.
Okay.
So, Admiral Moti's the one that obviously Vader force choked. That's pretty cool. And then General where is he? You'll recognize him. So General Cassio Taj is the one that's like in the conference room, and they're like zoomed in on his face while Vader's like force choking him in the conference room.
Yeah, with the kind of bowl cut.
Yeah.
So the more I'm thinking about this, man, the more I think it's probably going to be, and this is just my guess, it's probably going to be something like a Death Star 2, bigger. Maybe like slightly bigger, like you're like what you were talking about, Padawan. I think you'll probably be able to like take the top off of it, and there'll be like an interior. But I think the reason what they're going to try and push the price to $1,000 for is they're probably going to have like, and the play scale one over here, like they're probably going to have like a smaller brick built version of the TIE Fighter, a smaller brick built version of an X-Wing. Like these little things that It's like, who fucking cares? You know what I mean? But they're probably going to do all these little things to try and build up the price.
I was saying the other day as well, if this has got to have a GWP, and the GWP needs to be basically like, it needs to be like a 70, 80 pound/dollar use set. That's how big this GWP needs to be. It needs to be absolutely worth it. It needs to pair up with it perfectly. It can't just be shitty patches, for example.
It's just such a lame thing to make $1,000 set, man. Like, if you look at that Death Star, look at any of those things, and imagine it bigger or whatever. And like, okay, would you rather have $1,000 that or like $1,000 Ghost, like like minifig scale? Like,
I'd rather have
not even the Ghost, but like Falcon. Like, it's just such a weird thing for me. Like, I don't know.
I'd rather have $1,000 Jedi Temple all day, like an MBS.
Ooh. Or even like a USS version of like Jabba's palace or something, right?
Yeah,
like something cool. Like a Jedi's. We need a Jedi temple though. We haven't had that yet, so we definitely need that. Just reckon the Stormies get arm printing. Can you imagine if they went cheap on the fifth?
It wouldn't put it past me though if Lego were just like, yeah, it's got 25 figures. 20 of them are stormtroopers with arm printing signatures.
Yeah, I'm dying to see what it's going to look like. But I try to stay optimistic about a lot of stuff, even though I ran all the time. But I just got a bad feeling about this one, man.
I think it's going to rub people up the wrong way.
And here's the thing I'm also curious about. I know some land members will definitely throw down on some critique, not many. But I'm just talking about the overall, the other 95 of them. It's like, is anybody going to like call this shit out? I mean, and look, it's not like, just like I said, look, if you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. If you got the money and you want to buy it, buy it. But I just feel like it's like an elephant in the room. I feel like there's just another thing to address.
I'm gonna give it some fucking shit. If it isn't up to par, I'm gonna plaster it with shade.
I tell you one thing that might also help it out a little bit is if they change the Stormtrooper again. Back to I know you mentioned it briefly.
If they could take it back to the Rogue One era of Stormtroopers,
or even do a new one altogether that's better than everything.
I'd just go back to the Rogue One. It was absolutely perfect the way it was. Slap a bit of arm print on it and you're good.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. For my answer to Studlake would be no. It wouldn't, because I've already talked about the lightsabers, and I'm tired of the original trilogy lightsabers. It's time to give some prequels some love, man. There is so many good lightsabers in the prequels, dude.
It's time for some figs as a GWP again.
Well, that's even better, honestly. Imagine they finally give us a fig with a gift of purchase, but it goes with the Death Star. Dude, I will rant so hard my freaking computer will explode. I swear to God.
They give us the what's his name? Galen Erso as the GWP.
Oh my God.
That'd be a slap in the face.
Oh my God.
Or the George Lucas.
I will fucking lose it, dude. Because I always most of the time I'm kind of joking, but I feel like I'm really being serious a lot of times too. Like, I just feel like Lego is just totally trolling Star Wars fans, dude. Just totally trolling us all the time. It's about all kinds of stuff.
And I will. The one thing I will say on it briefly is, and I will stick up for Lego in this regard when it comes to pricing. It's not their fault that the price is so expensive, because it's Disney that are pushing that extra licensing fee out of them because they know it's their best product. So Disney will actively go, well, you're not going to say no if we charge you more, because you can't, because it's your flagship theme.
Now, I haven't checked in several years. It's been quite a while. But last time I checked, the IP costs that they pay out for all their IPs is like a drop in the bucket. It's not as much as a lot of people think it is.
But it's not far-fetched to say that.
No, not at all. But here's the other thing, too, is even then, I guess they spread, from what I've heard, they spread the cost of the IPs around. But it's like Lego is still way more expensive just compared, because I know a lot of people like to bring up the inflation and stuff, and I also take that into consideration. I absolutely hate using inflation, because inflation only applies to the money pool, so to speak, not actual like income or the economy per se. So yeah, inflation can rise, but people's wages don't, so it doesn't really keep up with it. And then like when you talk about like when inflation was at its peak during the pandemic, it got up to like 8%. somewhere in there, maybe like even close to 10. So then Lego jacked up their prices, and then then stuff smoothed back out, got back down to about like 6, then about 4% or something like that. I don't know where it's at right now, but like it's not like Lego drops their prices to fluctuate when it goes back down. But I do agree. Yeah, the IPs definitely have an issue, and
but like I'm not wrong in saying that Star Wars is more expensive than all the other themes if you compare them across sets.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me think that they're probably getting squeezed more on the licensing side, for that specifically.
But then it also,
which is smart by Disney, in all fairness.
Right. But it also, like, even before when they decided to go into the adult market, which started with the Architecture series, that's when they realized they could charge adults 2 to 3 times more like for a set that has the same amount of pieces, because we're adults, so we supposedly have the income. So like when you drop like $1,000 set, it's not necessarily because of the IP licensing fee. It's because they're like, yeah, you're an adult, we know you got money, so we're gonna make you pay $1,000 for a set. Now if they didn't have the IP cost and it was just like their own type of ship for $1,000, I guess that'd be different. Maybe you'd have more pieces. Yeah, but I agree. Yeah, the IP definitely takes into a factor, that's for sure. And so I don't agree with that comment either, to a point. So sorry, go ahead, Luke. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, trying to cover a little bit of the where. This will just be a Lego store exclusive, right? Do you think?
It probably branch out. I reckon it definitely branch out to a retailer. I reckon it'd be like.
I'm just thinking the size of it.
Has it done any other UCS Star Wars sets that were only exclusive to the Lego store?
No, I'm thinking more in terms of the size of the box, and obviously, especially
yeah,
you need a hand cart probably to.
Yeah, the only one that's exclusive, the only Lego Star Wars set that's exclusive to the Lego store right now is the bloody the Rebels versus Stormtrooper set. That's the only one I think is exclusive at the minute, and I don't think they've ever made a UCS set exclusive. They've made it retailer exclusive to whoever. But
so do you think there's a chance this could be the first one?
No, I think they're gonna sell this to as many retailers as they can, especially if they maybe potentially have that fear that it's not going to sell well because of its price point, so they'll want to sell it to retailers.
Yeah, it'll go out to retail. I don't think they're gonna buy it up that much.
No.
I can't imagine the Walmart's gonna be like, yeah, let's go and throw some $1,000 sets up on the shelf. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Especially for something that's gonna be that big. As a matter of fact, I know they're there, but I don't think I've ever seen any UCS sets at Walmart. I've seen them at Target, and I've seen them at like your mom and pop toy stores and stuff. But
well, then we have them in Smith's. It's probably the main place I can think of, unless you can think of something else, Padawan, where they're actually available to see, but they're behind like that kind of computer desk, aren't they? And like really up high. So if you asked for one, they're gonna have to bust up the ladder, and you couldn't touch it yourself. So they do something like that in a big toy store in the UK called Smith's. But other than that,
I imagine you can order it online. But I'm just thinking of like the shelf space and stuff.
And trying to get in one of those glass cabinets in the US, I think.
Yeah, lock it away, baby.
But the other weird, I think, was I was just kind of wanted to speculate where you think M&R is going to try and source it from, because we touched on this briefly. Because he's obviously going to try and get it, and I can't wait to see his race to get it built and out before the LAN people. And I know what he went through.
I think Lego made Lego, I mean, they basically hate each other. So I think Lego realized their mistake where did he get it from? He got it from the a Malaysia airport, didn't he? Is that where he got the Venice from? Early?
Was it the Venator?
I think it was the Venator he got early from the Malaysia airport.
I don't think places he gets them.
I don't think they'll do that again. I reckon someone at that Malaysia airport Lego store got their ass handed to him hard.
I know, but he still gets the sets early.
He didn't get the Jab Sale badge early.
Did he not?
No.
Okay. Well, look, if this is going to be the big set they think it's going to be, I think he'll pull out all the stops. But like I said, interesting to see how he's going to do that. But yeah, GWPs, I've just flashed that up just as a kind of reference. So, but I've got a couple of ideas of GWPs, so I'll just quickly run through the ones that we both taking the piss, but also, we're quite serious about in terms of, I mean, this is just guesswork, obviously. So guys in the chat, any ideas, whether it be batshit crazy or, genuine? I know there's a few gone out already. So we had the hot tub diorama scene from Skywalker Saga computer game. We had one long trench run sticker, which the total circumference of the
That was a good
set
one.
as a GWP, which tried to attach that. I'd love to see London Bridge Bricks trying to do that his way. Shout out to London Bridge Bricks trying to do that his method all the way around.
Right.
The detention block diorama, I think, is more of a serious one. But again, if they are going to do like internal modular type thing, that wouldn't really is probably one of the key ones. So to leave that out would be silly. And obviously, people who don't end up getting the GWP have then got potentially an empty space. A full size set, which is I think what me and you said, Padawan, is that it needs to be a kind of like. I was thinking around for the value. I think it needs to be around the size of the Imperial Star Destroyer that's currently out.
My prediction, and it would be nice, and I would happily pay the money day one to have it, is like the dioramas we already have, a diorama of Vader versus Obi-Wan final duel.
Ooh.
That's what I would love to have. Maybe
cool.
like a hangar bay in a hangar bay opening with the door slide in and out. And then they're just there.
Oh, that version. I thought you meant on Mustafar. Right. Okay. Yeah.
No. Like Vader, Obi-Wan final duel on the Death
Yeah,
Star.
right before he kills Obi-Wan, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I saw Rick and Morty's thing the other day. They were representing that because he built like a lightsaber. He's like, Morty, like hit me so I can, whatever, disappear like the old man in the movie.
Yeah. Or then he drops the lightsaber and it just keeps going.
Yeah, dude, like it drops it right straight down.
What else was said? We had shuttle, MIDI scale shuttle, and MIDI sticks. Because I thought it was quite strange they haven't done a Star Destroyer yet in the MIDI scale, and then they went straight to the Executor. I forgot the Executor.
Yeah.
So no, sorry. They did the Executor, and they also did the instead of the Venator, they did the other one. So I just think, you think they do the hits first, but. Could be a reason why. Maybe they're keeping that as a GWP. And then the one I've thought of since, after thinking about it, is a Vader bonfire diorama.
You know what I'd like to see? Because I don't want to see a fig. Just because, like you said, I get super pissed if they do an exclusive fig in $1,000 set. But what I would think would be pretty cool is if I forget what it's called. But you know that little torture device thing, that ball that floated and had like the needle on it, you know what I mean? Yeah. I think it'd be pretty cool if they did like just one of those, like a nice looking one for a gift of purchase. Because that's something that I feel like a lot of people would probably want, but it wouldn't be the same thing as like a fig, you know what I mean? That would really kill you not to have. But if you bought that set, that'd be a really cool thing that would go with it. So that'd be something I'd like to see. But the other ones you guys brought up are really good too, man.
Ultra bricks, but like an expansion, like the Gringotts. Like you don't have to have it on there, but you can slip it in.
Yeah,
and it fits not quite nicely.
That would be cool too.
Imagine if you get it's the Death Star 2, and they're like, "Here's your GWP. You get a battle pack of parts, so you can make it like a normal Death Star."
Or even like one of those gun turrets, like make it really nice as a display stand. But you can also, if you want, you could take it off and just attach it to your Death Star, maybe something like that.
Just stick it off the side, like yes.
Yeah, I also as a kind of joking one, maybe one of the stormtroopers has a dent in his helmet from where he goes under that doorway.
That's a good one, but that's a good one too, Mayo. Wow. Yeah, like the table, you know what I mean, like and everything to have a set around it. That would be cool.
They'll give us the table, but they won't give us the figs to go with it.
They're like, right, we want this Hive off.
Yeah. What else did I kind of want to cover?
Here's one. How do you think they're going to display it on a stand-wise? Do you think it's going to have an absolute girthy stand at the base?
I was thinking about that. I think it's going to have like 3 or 4 pillars that it like sits on, like where the pillars at like at an angle. So, because you don't want it to have on something vertical like that, because then it might wobble too much. But if you have the stands like at an angle and it just sits on there, I think that's probably the best way for it.
If they have those little pillars, it will end up looking like the Trade Federation command part that float off Geonosis.
Right. Yeah, that's a good because obviously you'd want something almost sort of invisible, you know what I mean? So it looks like it floats, but it'd have to be for something that big, man. Because Ryan's also talked about that before too, like just how you would display it. Like,
look at the Death Star 2 stand. It's like flimsy as hell, and that's a big.
and then picking it up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
Because only one of these had stands, right? Those two just stood on the floor.
Yeah, they had like a flat base, whereas the Death Star 2 on the left hand side had a black center stand.
so
That's
maybe
not
it's
going to.
possible
Yeah,
they might just
that's
have
not going to
it.
be. That's
I mean,
not going to be enough.
This Death
I
Star
wonder
2, it's got to
I wonder
have
if-
a Technic structure in it. It's got to have a Technic mega structure in the middle, because if it's going to be big, it won't be able to withstand just being brick built.
Right.
No. I wonder if Duck Bricks will risk hanging this new UCS set from his ceiling. That'd be interesting. Be like a disco ball.
Well, I will say, and I know we kind of discussed this a little bit too, but if they might be able to cram this in like one big box, like the Falcon or something like that, you know what I mean? But like, I think they start going anywhere further than this, they're gonna have to do like multiple boxes or something, man. You can't have a box. I can't imagine you having a box any bigger than the one that's like the Falcon. Like,
yeah,
you imagine someone coming into your house and going, "Did you buy a new dining table? Did you?" No, this is the Lego set. And
yeah, like if they're delivering a appliance.
Styrofoam.
You got two guys deliver, like it looks like they're delivering an appliance, man, but it's just a Lego set.
the chest freezer.
All of a sudden, Lego's going to have to do their own distribution like IKEA do.
All right.
Jesus.
Interesting.
LNG tanks at harbors. I see what he means. Yeah. So coming in at it at angles.
So, and what was the release date they were talking? October, right?
I think it's October 1st, yeah. The standard.
So it's going to be like around the time like sail barge, like that UCS time frame. Do we know what the other, like the earlier UCS?
It's Slave 1, Jango Fett Slave 1.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I'm tenfold more excited about that than I am about.
And I got to tell you, as long as
I'm no T-boy, but I want the fucking.
And here's the thing, and this is why I don't shame anybody if they've got the money they want to, or save the money and buy this $1,000 set, because how much was it Django's going to be?
300, I think.
300. Yeah. As long as I can swing it, that's a day one, dude.
Yeah.
You kidding me? And it's gonna. I want to have it like sitting there, like.
Yeah.
Oh my god! It better look as good as this one.
I personally, I've got it in the backlog. I've got the Boba Fett Slave 1 to build, and I'm like, I am so nervous that it's not going to look the same, or it's going to be downscaled, or
it's going to be slightly. It's going to be slightly small. I'm going to piss everybody off.
Here's the thing too, and I'm sure you already know this, Padawan, but like when you build that one, be careful, because when I had my 24-hour stream, Ryan was on there and he was building that with me. He was building his. I think there's a couple other people that are building it too, but he's talked about it before. But like, yeah, he broke like one of the big pieces. Like we were all building it, and all of a sudden you hear this big snap, and Ryan was like, "Oh my god!"
I'm petrified. I'm absolutely petrified.
Yeah, just be gentle. And Ryan said he wasn't even like being hard about it. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't like manhandling it. If you just hit just enough tension at the right spot, the right angle, yeah.
It's when I was on one of the ACOB streams before the Jabba's sail barge come out, and I think he was building one of the smaller Jabba sail barges from like 2011 or whenever that one came out, and he was just breaking brittle brown, like he was just disintegrating in his hand doing it, and I was just like, "Oh, that's savage." Yeah,
I know. That's a premium Lego for you. Also, I wanted to acknowledge something Terminator said way earlier in the chat, earlier in the stream, was don't go into credit card debt for this. Yeah. Jabba Fett slave barge.
No, you're right. Actually, you're right, Hive. I saw that. Guys, I think we probably owe this to anybody who's watching as a kind of disclaimer. Don't do something stupid for this set, because
I mean, I won't necessarily tell anybody what to do, but I will give advice, because clearly I didn't do very good decision making when I spent thousands of dollars on Lego. But
that old saying, "Do as I say, not as I do."
The thing I will say though, if you're responsible, like Mrs. Hive, she can buy something on her credit card. She's good. But so if you can make payments and just make sure you just have a good interest rate, man. That's the biggest thing, dude, because it will destroy you if you have a high interest rate, dude. You'll just be paying interest rate and you'll never get the actual thing paid off.
End up owing more than you've actually paid off.
Oh my god. Then you ruin your credit, and it's fine now, but when you need to buy a house or something or a car, you know. Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing,
Murtley, just drop in the comments, mate. You D1B in this. I think I did see that you commented on my poll. Actually, I'll read out the poll, see how the poll's going. I didn't do one on YouTube. I keep forgetting how, but am I right in saying you can only do it once it's gone live? A poll on YouTube?
I remember seeing it because I
didn't do one. I'm saying when you do a poll on YouTube,
on YouTube,
before, but I think you've got to do it after the stream has started, right?
No, you can do it during the stream.
That's what I'm saying, but you can't do it before it's gone live, right?
Oh, I'm not 100% sure. I think you can.
I'm sure you can do a community poll.
Yeah.
You can't do a poll on the video, but you can do a community poll.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can put one that comes up at the top, like when people enter the chat. And I think with that one, you've got to do it. I meant to do it at the beginning, but it doesn't matter because most people have been clear about their answer.
Just going to give when Sam's 5 minutes away from the house, I'm going to have to wrap up.
Yeah, it's fine, mate. No, but I think Murtley agreed with you in the poll, so I'll read it out now because I gave 4 options, and the options were, let's have a look. Okay, so poll. What's the results? So D1B looks like 1, which is you think yourself, Padawan.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, but I can wait for a deep discount. And then everybody else was, "Are you mad, bruv? No chance, mate." But which was me, and I think I'm looking at the numbers. I can't really work it out, but I think probably at least 2-3 others. But Murtley actually interestingly said the same as you, which is we'll definitely be buying the set, but only some incredible GWP will make me day one buy.
Yeah, it'd have to be absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, because I would really like to have this discussion once we see it and everything, and then just at least pretend if we were all just rich, you know what I mean? Would we want to buy it? Like, would we think it's worth us just spending our money on? Not a matter of like, because if we were rich, $1,000 wouldn't mean probably much to us. You know what I mean? So it's not. Let's pretend it's not even about the money. Just is it a good set worth us spending the money on? You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's interesting.
This always pops up, like how Star Wars could be modular, and I don't see it happen. I don't see how it could happen because nothing. You can't make it unless you do Coruscant. You can't make a city from Star Wars unless you have like just random build. Like you could have like what like Marvel have done with like the random different buildings, but they're so vast and big and rounded, and it doesn't.
Near spanning planets and
yeah. It's just like.
I mean, the Jedi Temple would be obviously the best place to start. But even modular, it's not going to be like a normal modular building because it would be minifig scale. But $1,000 Jedi Temple would be really rad.
Yeah, it would be cool. It would be super cool.
Just a quick segue because I sent that clip from your stream, Hive, to Kirsty, and she was because we both work in retail. And as managers, in fairness, we don't really get the worst of it, but we have worked our way up to that. And some of the stories I could tell you would turn your nails. But she said that a lady came into Tesco this morning, and she was at the other end of the aisle to Kirsty. Kirsty was obviously busy working, and she just shouted down the aisle, "Suitcases, please!" I mean, at least she said please, but I've had people just go, "Coloring books," and I'm like, "What?" Coloring books, and I'm just like, I respond to people how they talk to me, and I'm just like, down there. Whereas if someone goes, "Hey, excuse me, can you tell me?" Yeah, of course, I can show you and I can help you, but coloring books. So she just said, I just completely blanked her, and she walked away.
Man, it's good to be able to vent to people that understand and can relate to stuff like that, man. You know what I mean? That have been in that job industry because they know what you're talking about. They feel your pain.
They don't even. How do you not even know your own address?
I know.
Anyway, but yeah, so let's get back to it just until Sam crashes the party. So what else did I want to ask? When? Oh, so when? Sorry, how long do we think it'll be on shelves?
5 years plus. It's going to be Falcon.
Yeah.
It's going to be Falcon status.
Because they're gonna not make a ton of them, just enough to just keep a few on the shelves. You know what I mean? Because I imagine they're basing their data and analytics off like the Falcon, the AT-AT, like those sets.
I think the AT-AT should have been on shelves. I think it deserved to be on shelves a lot longer. The AT-AT.
Isn't it weird? Maybe they retired it because they knew they're going to have another one sitting on the shelves for a long time. I don't know. Because eventually Lego's going to change their model again on how they do stuff, as they've been doing throughout the years, as they've added more themes or done this or whatever. I don't know. It's very interesting.
I reckon they should cut away half the Star Wars sets and bring back the Lord of the Rings theme as a full-on fledged theme across the year.
Some of my Star Wars friends get mad at me because I say the Lord of the Rings trilogy is the best trilogy. And they're like, it is the best. Like, dude, I like Star Wars got a special place in my heart. Do not get me wrong. Yeah, but Lord 100%. Of the Rings, that ain't campy.
No.
Like, that's a serious, like, almost flawless, dude. I want to say flawless, but I'm sure there's something, we could pick apart, but just almost completely flawless, dude, that movie. Oh my God,
best
so good. I still watch it every year. All of them.
Time.
And I watch the long versions, man, the extended versions.
But you haven't watched the extended
too, huh?
You haven't watched the extendeds?
Oh, dude, the extendeds are so good.
Yeah,
but you gotta have a good 3 hours or more.
Yeah, well, so here's an example. So, me and my close circle of friends. A quick sidebar. Me and my close circle of friends. Each time we have our birthday, we just decide what we want to do on that day, and we all do it together as friends. And this year. A month ago, I was like, right, what we're doing is we're all going to come around mine. We're going to get drinks on. We're going to have some food. We're going to sit down, and in front of my big ass TV, we're going to watch the Lord of the Rings extended from start to finish. They all came around about 9 a.m. We finished at 1 a.m. the following day, and that's when we plowed it all out.
Man.
No breaks.
Good movies, dude.
No breaks. Just rolled from one to the other, just all the way through. It's about 12 hours. So we started at like. No, didn't we? Sorry. No, we started about 12 and then we ended about 1.
So no pausing for toilet breaks.
I mean, but
yeah, you get your loo breaks, but
yeah, but I mean, but like
we've all seen the film a million times, so we can just go and do it.
But not just, but everybody, especially Peter Jackson, man, they took gentle care with that story, man. They respected the hell out of the story, out of what Tolkien did. Peter said it many times, man. They weren't trying to change anything unless it had to be changed just for movie purposes, like filming or something. You know what I mean? Like whatever the structure is, but like, and that's how you keep your fans, man. When you take an IP and you give it gentle care and you treat it with respect, and you listen to your fans, look what happens, man. It becomes the greatest movies like of all time and stuff.
Well, that was one of the reasons why the sequel trilogy exists. It's basically because Disney didn't want to pay any of the writers for the rights to use their novels in motion cinema, motion capture, which is why they just created their own new story.
But imagine, dude.
But if they just used the source material that was already available to them and just paid the fee, it would have saved you probably just as much money on getting writers in to write the bloody crap that was the sequel trilogy.
Because I remember in the beginning, some of my friends, they were hating it. They did not like Disney. They didn't, but most of us, dude, we were excited, man. We're like, Disney got the money. That we thought George was going to be involved. Even Kathleen Kennedy, we knew she was involved with Spielberg and Lucas for decades. Like, we had no issues, man. We were there. Nobody hated J.J. Abrams.
We were on the verge of greatness.
Oh my God, dude.
We were this close.
And even though there's some issues with The Force Awakens, I liked The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I like The Force Awakens, and I kind of say it publicly. I like The Force Awakens. I was excited.
I didn't like how they treated our characters, but
I remember watching it and thinking, I can't wait for the rest. It's got to build up from here.
JJ set up some good stuff, man.
7-8 out of 10. It needs to progress higher, and when it didn't, I don't think the second movie was absolute garbage in terms of versus other Star Wars movies. Yes, but in terms of versus other movies, no. But it didn't take that step up. It didn't step it up. And of course, when you compare it to the second movie of the original trilogy, which was Empire, it just didn't take that step up. And then, of course, the third movie, it just kind of went in. I don't know. Again, still a great movie. I remember going to see it, being excited and really hyped up about it before and after. But when I sat back and thought about it, I was like, it just didn't do what it almost promised to do. It just left a big hole there, as if to say,
Like,
"Is that it?"
They knew they were in trouble after The Last Jedi, and they were like, let's just throw Palpatine back in the mix as a nostalgia grab, and hopefully it does okay. And that's what happened. And I was like, oh my God, let's just ruin the last 20, 30, 40 years of Star Wars because you want to make a bit of bank.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I kind of disagree there, because if you read some of the novels, they talk quite heavily about cloning. They were working on cloning the Emperor. And I think they tried to tap into that a little bit, but you're right. It was still a bit of a
well, they could have given some more backstory about it. That would be different. If we would have known he had clones and stuff like made of him already, like in the books and all that, it would have been different. But just like, oh, he was evaporated in the Death Star, and now he's back.
I look at it from the standpoint of George Lucas. If George Lucas says what's canon, then that's the facts. And to me, Project Necromancer will always be expanded universe.
Honestly, man, I think it's just more than Star Wars. I think most of them now, for whatever reason, they're just creatively bankrupt, man. It's like with Marvel, like they're bringing Robert Downey Jr. back. Now they're bringing Chris Evans back. It's like, dude, come on, guys.
Did you see they've had to change the film? They've had to change Captain America: Brave New World like 4 times.
Just like, in the beginning, the title of the movie was going to be New World Order, and they decided that was too controversial. Like, come on, man. It's a fictional movie, dude. It's from the comic books. Like,
what a great. I thought it was a great.
But the TV show was hounded by the same kind of issues, so I think they were just trying to do a wide steer of it, weren't they? So
I didn't even finish the series, man.
I think the Thunderbolts trailer dropped today or yesterday, or whenever it was. They look really good, actually. Bucky Barnes now looks like the Winter Soldier again, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm just very curious to see what they're going to do with Sentry. That's my biggest thing as far as the Thunderbolts go. But like, I don't know. It's.
I saw what you mean. There, it seems like the old Hollywood now is kind of like on a creative black hole in their head where they don't know what they're doing, and they're just kind of like grabbing whatever they can and just going, let's do this, and it's just not sitting well with anyone.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just
to bring it back briefly to Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, if they do the light in bricks or the light, like you mentioned, Hive, which I think is a really good point and a good idea. Even if they do it as a GWP, like you can add it in. But if they do it and they add that gigantic sticker to the outside of a Death Star box, obviously for the Americans. Oh my God.
Oh, what
that'll be enough to sink it. Could you imagine on that huge box that people are going to want to? Even if I ever bought that set, that's probably one box I certainly would keep.
See, here's my biggest thing: is when you look at the Falcon, like even the price, you're like, oh, like whatever. But the Falcon looks absolutely gorgeous as a set, dude. Like, and especially as big as it is, it's almost a perfect Falcon, because if you get too much bigger, it's going to be absurd. And obviously, it's you don't want to get smaller because it's great that size. It's basically as close, like I said, dollars minifigure scale as you're going to get. So yeah, you look at that and you can be like, well, I can maybe see it maybe be kind of worth it in a way. I don't know if you wanted to stretch it, and a lot of us just say it is anyways. But a Death Star, boy, man.
I think I speak for all of us when we say I just don't want it to end up being like the Star Destroyer or the Venator, where it's just a hollow shell of for the money they're charging. Like it
can't be, because as much as I don't want an interior, how I am about the whole play set stuff, but it have to have, dude, because you can't have $1,000 Death Star 2. Yeah, it's just not gonna be worth it, man. I don't care how many pieces you throw in it. Like now maybe if you got a bunch of extra figs, it was really awesome. You light it up, like maybe make some smaller play scales. I don't know, but like. Yeah, I just can't imagine. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, this is no matter how big they make it, this is never going to be enough, is it?
But you can see how many pieces would be in something like that if they made it bigger.
Yeah, the fragility of this as well is probably the biggest issue. What the hell is that supposed to be? Oh, it's the executor, right? Okay. Yeah, the fragility of this as well. It's just.
Imagine if they give us. I think someone might have already said it, but imagine if they give us not one Death Star, but 2 display Death Stars. One's a Death Star 2, one's a Death Star 1, about 500 a piece. Kind of works.
I mean,
have your Death Star 1 as your play set, as your MBS set. Have your Death Star 2 as your display set. Because I don't see how they're going to do it without having to do what they've done here, which is have like all the pieces, like if you do a Death Star 2 and try and do a playset, you'll only get the one side that can be a playset. You won't be able to do the second side without it looking really poor. In my eyes, anyway.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, they're jumping through hoops, man, trying to probably figure this thing out. Like, how in the hell are you gonna make a Death Star worth $1,000? What are you gonna do to it to make people be like, yeah, I'll pay $1,000 for that?
Studley kind of brings up a good point here, because I'm thinking, what if they do a one-off box they've never done before, so it's like a silver box or something like that, and then they don't go bananas with it, but or a gold box, just that one set, and then go back to whatever, that I think that in itself would sell out to a lot of people.
That was a good call, Stud. I agree, Muttley.
Yeah.
And look, even if that's why I bring up Andor. Because Andor is so well written, so well directed.
Andor. I
love it too. But I get why a lot of Star Wars fans might not like it. I totally understand that reasoning. But imagine if you take that template of Andor and apply it to like Sith and Jedi or to bounty hunters, or make these cool stories that take themselves a little more seriously. Dude, we would eat it up. Are you kidding me? Imagine like the game cutscenes from like Knights of the Old Republic kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Or yeah, I agree. If there's no interior, they'd have to make it like 3 times the size of the lab.
I've just come up with an idea, and I can't remember which part of Star Wars media. I think it was it might have been Bad Batch or I don't think it was Rogue One. But when they're I think it was Bad. I think it might have been Bad Batch when they're putting, or was it Obi-Wan? I don't know. You'll tell me. When you see the Death Star in the final scene and they're putting the Kyber crystal into the Death Star, and it's like all like, like it's all popped out like that.
Yeah.
I imagine if you could do that with a set, you like pop
putting
it out.
Putting the Kyber crystal in.
Well, it's a fucking the
dish.
In the laser, it's a big ass Kyber crystal. That's what it is. That's how they create the laser beam.
Yeah, but I don't remember seeing that in anything.
I'll get it now.
I remember seeing it. I remember seeing it in putting the dish on in.
Oh yeah, you don't see the Kyber crystal, but it'd be cool if you don't see the Kyber crystal in that scene. What is that scene from? Which piece of Star Wars media is it from?
That's at the end of where they put the dish on. Is during Rogue One.
Is it during Rogue One?
Because they finish it.
Oh no!
In that film, don't they?
No,
they finish it during that movie, and then they use it for the first time in that movie. So Rogue One sees the end of the creation and the start of the use of it. If you think about it,
I wonder if they do a stupid gift of purchase, like a coin or a blanket or something. I think nothing even like Lego brick built.
Yeah, that's what I said. The UCS is just going to be a Dianoga, but I actually think that they could put one in here, like a non-brick built one, just like a.
So what Coop said is also probably a really good way they might do it, a 2-in-1. So that way you can put more pieces in the set without it being one whole thing. So imagine like each Death Star, maybe you could build Death Star 2 or the first one, right? But like each one maybe takes 2,000 pieces, 4,000 pieces, but you get a total of 8,000 pieces with the set. So that way you're not building one Death Star.
Yeah,
sorry, huge.
It's at the end of Andor.
Oh, you know what I mean? When they're putting the bits and pieces onto
when they're putting the bits and pieces together onto the dish.
Yeah, because they're building that stuff for weeks and you don't really know what it is, and then eventually you see,
because in that center,
which is really cool. It was a cool scene.
Yeah, I can't zoom it. If you find the photo and zoom into the middle section, there's like a cylindrical piece about this big in the photo, and that's what would house the Kyber crystal. Right, to create the beam. And I'm saying, like, imagine if they did this with this set and you could like disassemble it like that and like put it all back together and stuff. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the other thing they need to have that in there, the little scene with the two guys with no bar or barrier between them and the laser, where they're just kind of on.
Oh yeah, they're just health and safety just not a thing on the Death Star.
Yeah, this is going to piss people off. A perfect clone set. I mean, they've done it with so many others that the set does not match. They use the GWP. I mean, we're all assuming it's going to be, but it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Vader lightsaber or something stupid. Yeah, I think, Stud, you were the one who said that earlier, but, I think it's, at least if they did that, is something people want. but it's just not enough. I don't think it'd be enough. You know, you'd want a Darth Maul. I know it's not linked at all, but you'd want a Darth Maul lightsaber GWP with that because at least it's bigger than the ones we've had before. Death Star blanket would be cool in a vacuum. What? Death
Keep
Star
you warm.
in a vacuum? I don't understand what it means.
I think just in general, like not like a gift for purchase, just a Death Star blanket would be cool.
Right.
Get a Death Star fleece.
But yeah,
I can see them doing like one of every Imperial like trooper figure in this set. You get like a Death Star trooper, you got a normal Stormtrooper, you got a Scout trooper, you got a Death Trooper. Or can you imagine if this is the first time we get a Purge trooper in this set?
Imagine though, if Lego was smart, they would probably make as many exclusive figs in this set as they could. Because imagine for like your, some serious Star Wars collectors, especially for Lego that wants to collect all the minifigs, or if they just collect Star Wars, that type of stuff. Imagine if you had like 20 or so a very exclusive, like, and I'm talking like even the ones we've already seen, like your Luke and all them, but just to make something different about the printing, make the per trooper, make a lot of stuff. And then you throw in like, I don't know, like a George Lucas or like a Galen or so, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you put all these figs in there, someone would probably just buy it just for the figs and then maybe sell the set or whatever. Or it might just be worth it because they're so exclusive. You know what I mean?
One, you've got to have it. There has to be exclusive in this. And hopefully Lego learn their lesson from the Venator and then don't put them in normal sets like in a year's time. Because that would just be that would really fucking take the piss.
No, but I think you're right. They would have to knock it out of the park on every facet, from every angle.
Because even if you had it imbalanced, if the build was insanely spectacular but the figs were under par, it would ruin the set. If you had an insane fig lineup that looked amazing and everyone had leg printing and dual molded like legs and stuff like that, but the build was shit, it would ruin it. Like it. Do you know what I mean? Like in any other set that we've already had, if you had one or the other, it kind of makes up for it. Whereas this, because they're charging the astronomical amount they are, the first 4-figure set effectively, everything's got to be fucking. It's got to be fucking perfect.
And also, I was gonna say I've never had any of the Death Stars, so I don't even know how awkward they are to try and display, man.
Yeah, I think the ones that just sit on the desk are kind of. I mean, it makes sense for most people who've got shelves, but I don't know. It just doesn't look right to me. I think it does need to have some kind of stand. But again, something this big.
This Star 2 looks. I think it looks really nice as a display set. As in the.
But you'd have to have a deep shelf, man, to put it on the shelf, right? I mean,
well, that's the sole reason I bought them. Like you'd have to have something like that, or you'd have to sacrifice a lot of space on like a Billy bookcase or something to like be able to display it.
Studlake, by the way, you're exactly right, Studlake, about that comment. If 2-in-1 Deku would probably not feel like it's worth $1,000 with all the pieces not being utilized at once. But that's how I feel like it's going to probably be something like that. Exclusive kind of. Yeah, go ahead. See how good that sells.
Set on fire.
Actually, ironically, it probably would sell a lot.
Yeah, we have said about this, Murtley. We think, well, obviously it's all guesswork. But the one thing I will say is I think that with this one, they're gonna release the GWP to break up that sort of 10-month gap. I don't think they're gonna leave it till last week or two like they have before, or maybe a month out. I think they're gonna drop it relatively, quite soon. Again, just to try and build that hype. Because the next thing that's gonna happen is we're gonna have the pictures leaked, right?
Yeah.
In a couple of months' time, whenever it might be. And then we're going to have like official pictures, and then it'll be the GWP, and they're just going to keep that ball rolling. Ironically, the ball is just going to keep rolling,
Give me a James Earl Jones exclusive fig for this set.
Interesting. That would be like an honor too, because he passed. Was it this year he passed on?
Yeah, this year.
It was this year, wasn't it?
I tell you another thing I just thought of. Have you ever seen the painting that the guy did of the landing platform in Death Star, where he did a painting to?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I wonder if they do like an exclusive print of that or something.
Well, actually, that interior in itself, wouldn't that be a cool interior? Like even if that's the only one they did, just a nice big interior, like if you took off the top of the Death Star and like had that hanger in there with the white lights on the side and everything, that would look pretty sweet, man. But yeah, it's hard to say, man. A lot of speculation, but they better do something pretty rad, man. I will say that, because it's not just about. I know, again, we're talking about like there's already the $800 and some sets or whatever, and if you count for inflation, maybe look grand. But look, $1,000 is more than just a big deal. It's because just the name, the number, you know what I mean? Like that's a big turning point for a price on something, So it's significant. Like, trust me, when this is officially announced, it's going to be all over the news.
Yeah,
everybody's going to be talking about it. Because people won't shut up about Lego anyways. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about us. Like, we talk about Lego because we're balls deep in Lego. It's just our world. You know what I mean? But everybody else, they don't shut up about like Lego, and they're not even that much into it. But the point is, everybody's it's going to be on the news. The first $1,000,
yeah. And when he's talking about pushing it with land, we did touch on this earlier, Stud. I don't know. I'm guessing you missed it, but I think they're going to be, with a set this big, they can give it to as many land members as they would give another set. I think they'd be quite selective, because normally they tend not to give like Star Wars sets to Star Wars buyers because they know they're going to buy it anyway. I think I heard that spoken about before.
I don't know if this is true in land. I don't obviously know the inner workings of a lot of the stuff. I know some stuff because I know a lot of land members that talk to me about things, but like, I wonder if they're going to be selective, not just because of how the price is, but just because So I feel like they would easily give it to David Hall, not just because he's a Star Wars channel, but because he's the biggest shill I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, he's not only going to not talk about the price, but he's going to just chop it up like, oh yeah, it's the most beautiful set, whatever. But like, there's other land members. I'm not going to say anybody names, but like, I know maybe they wouldn't again criticize like we would, but they do talk about prices and they go fairly hard for a land member. You know what I mean? But I feel like if even the ones that don't get the sets, a lot of them gotta be scratching their head though, because it's like, okay, yeah, we work for Legos. Well, work is a loose term, but you know what I mean. Like, we work for a bit, like, but like, good Lord, man, it's like, no, especially if it doesn't look as good as it should,
Well, I think Duckbrick said in one of his videos before, I think ACOB asked him, did you get sent this set? And I think whatever it was, he actually, I can't remember what he goes for, not Barnacle, whatever it was. Anyway, because they knew Ninjago, let's say Ninjago, for example, because they knew he was going to buy it, he said, oh, they didn't send me that. And the ACOB were like, well, that's strange. Why would they? And they said, because they know I'm going to buy it anyway. Because they're trying to get him to introduce his normal people to new audiences. But with a set this big, I think they know that the normie is not purchasing this set, right? Your grandma's not going in and purchase it. So I think you're dead right. I think they're going to go with the big name land guys who are just going to try and sell it to that elitist group of people who are going to who are on the cusp of buying this set and just need to drive it home, like Padawan, for example. They're going to try and sell it to him specifically, and they'll have to give it to the elite Star Wars guys, I think, which is, we don't know what that's going to look like, but that's what my opinion of what they'll do with it anyway. So
right, I love you all. I'm gonna have to shoot because people are starting to turn up, and it's super rude of me just sat up here.
No, thanks, mate. Hey, look, I appreciate your time and jumping on short notice. We probably won't go on for much longer anyway, but thanks for your time, mate. Appreciate it.
Cool. Love being here. Hive, lovely to chat to you as always.
As always, my friend.
I need to jump more into some of your streams, but you to be honest, every time you go live, I'm always like either out with Sam doing football or something. And I'm like, I've got the dog, and I'm like you popped up on Sunday, and I was like, I've got the dog. Sam's watching football. Dude. It
was kind of random, yeah. But hey, man, I'm just counting down the days of Chicago, brother. So
yeah, man. It's gonna be epic.
I'm calling you.
Right then. Jubs in the chat for Padawan. Thanks, Padawan.
See you in a bit, guys.
Later, brother.
Bye.
So I don't know how much more you got in you, mate.
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah.
I'm good for probably about another half hour. Kirsty's due almost 7, so
sure.
If we're still on at that point, then I think I'll be calling it a day as well. But so what's Murley saying? I would extend it to go. I don't know.
Yeah, that's something I've brought up a lot lately, and more it's becoming very more obvious. Not just me, just kind of speculating on stuff that people can sprinkle whatever they want as far as the definition of land, but just ultimately more, it's marketing, man. That's all it is. It's just them using land members as marketing tools.
The one thing we definitely all agree on, and I think it's the only thing that I've seen as a resounding they've got to, is that they've got to market this hard. And obviously, as you know, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Cooper would probably be the one to ask, but there are some UCS sets out there that they've done really shit marketing for, or non-existent marketing. It's just kind of popped up out of the blue. And then I don't know whether that is reflected in the sales, but it's just like, I think maybe Tyler has kind of made reference to the fact that it's like they clearly don't like sequel trilogy because they've done like, was it the gunship? They did hardly any sort of marketing for, even though it was like, picked from sets. I don't know what it was, but there was kind of this belief out there that they were like, well, unless they really want to release that set, they don't bother. And that's a shame. But I think, with this, they're going to have to pull out all the stops.
Yeah, I agree, Ultra. And not even just because it's a big set, but because it's $1,000 set. Dude, this is big news. Like, this is a big deal. Unless it was this is just a rumor, speculation, obviously, you know what I mean? Unless the whole thing wasn't true, but it is gaining some traction. But it's hard to say. It's maybe gaining the traction because of the rumor, you know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah. But it's from a reliable source, so. Yeah.
So this is the largest Lego set as well as the largest Star Wars set, right?
I believe so. I mean, we don't know the piece count yet. And we don't even know what
course
size will be, but because we don't even know if it'll be in like two normal Death Stars, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. No, we don't. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The only reason I was getting to that is because I was just trying to consider whether there is an anniversary for Lego itself coming up, not just Lego Star Wars, in 2025.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure when their anniversary is coming up. But yeah, I mean, as far as keeping it under wraps, I don't foresee that happening. I just think, because like I said, I've heard a few things kind of in the background, and not knowing exactly, what is 100% true or not. But yeah, I think, again, they let it leak just to kind of get the ball rolling and see how people's reactions were going to be. And then to try and determine, like maybe what their piece count's going to be or whatever,
And no, as they always say, no publicity is bad publicity. Sorry, there's no such thing as bad publicity, because even the people who are out there making streams, like your good self and probably millions of other people, talking about how, who's this for? Why are they doing this? It's all still publicizing that product for them. And I think, they're obviously smarter than us in that, they knew there was probably a little bit of that going to go on. And even if they didn't know, and I take my tinfoil hat off, we're still doing it for them. So,
yeah. I mean, and I don't even mind that part as much, obviously, because, it gives us content to talk about. It's stuff we like to talk about. We like to all get each other's opinions about it, my whole thing is I still think it's a bad idea they're doing a Death Star, like I said, because even if they made it big enough or something, it's just not that interesting of a looking thing. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not iconic. It's not like it doesn't have a place in all of our hearts, obviously, but that the Falcon looks great because it's a Falcon. The AT-AT, not as detailed, but it's just massive in a different kind of way. Plus it's more play scale, minifig scale kind of thing. I mean, I've got the smaller one, right back there, but if I had the big one, man, that looked really cool out there. But obviously I didn't have the $800 to spend on it. So I mean, at least the AT-AT, the Falcon, like those are different. You know what I mean? I just can't imagine like this big gray ball. Even the Death Star 2, the one I like more. So it's like it's either got to be something really, I don't know, because even they make it play scale, like. Which again, like we've talked about, if you make $1,000 set, you're going to have to make some type of interior. Yeah. And I think they keep pushing stuff like the barn door, with the Lord of the Rings stuff, like how it's got like a dollhouse style to it. I don't know, man. We're gonna have to wait to see what this thing looks like. But I'm just like, I don't know how they're gonna make this that interesting to where it's gonna seem like it's worth $1,000.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, obviously, the conversation of what they could have done instead goes on forever. But I just started thinking, when you started saying that, then what other iconic ships that they haven't done or haven't done recently could they do? And I honestly can't think of anything else, because you're right. The Death Star isn't really that iconic when you think about it. I mean, it has quite a big presence in the first film, hardly any presence in the third film. And then, it's one of the driving factors behind Rogue One. But,
and the whole thing too, when I brought up the Ghost, I mean, I can understand, I don't agree, but I can understand the argument of like, it's not popular enough, or, it's not like but it's like, here's what I tell people a lot about certain things like that. Maybe not for a normie. So I guess that's who they're marketing to, is normies. But if you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to know what the fuck the Ghost is. And if you don't know what the Ghost is, well, it's time to fucking learn. You know what I mean? Like, it's an iconic fucking ship. I don't like, if you think about Star Wars ships and you take out the fucking X-Wing, TIE Fighter, Falcon, and the fucking Slave One, you're going to start going down things like the Ghost. You know what I mean? Like, there's other ones out there. Obviously, if you're a super fan, you know a billion of them. But like the bigger ones that are more popular, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can call the Nebula and B frigate, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, there's what the one for the Calamaris or whatever. But it's just, I don't know. It just seems odd to me that everybody's like, like, I don't know why they'd make the Ghost. That doesn't make any sense. Let's just make a big, great fucking basketball, or make the Falcon like we've seen a billion times before.
I think we're assuming that we're asking what UCS set has to be the one. I don't disagree that if they're going to make their first ever $1,000 set, that the Death Star was the wrong choice. I just don't think we needed $1,000 set.
Oh, I agree. No, I totally agree.
And I agree in terms of like, if they are gonna do a UCS Ghost, you'd want it sort of scaled with the Millennium Falcon, and if anything, especially for display purposes, and then that way, then you don't really need, it wouldn't warrant £1,000. So
because what else could you do for $1,000, man? You know how hard it would be to make like a Slave One $1,000 set. You know what I mean? Or you could do like the play stuff, like we were talking about. Was Austin was talking about the indoor stuff? So that would, and I would really like that, because I can incorporate all that stuff into my city. You know what I mean? Like, whoops. But Death Star is far and away the best set, regards to name recognition, to be $1,000 set. But what could they do besides the Death Star? Which I don't even know how they're gonna do that. The Falcon, or like you said, you get into maybe some play scale sets, like like indoor. But even then, dude, you'd have to make it massive, right, for $1,000.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Did Lego sit down and go, right, we want to make a $1,000 set. What's it going to be? Or did they say, we want to make a Death Star, a play set? Oh, it's going to be $1,000. We don't know which came first in that conversation. I think we're all assuming that they were like, right, we need to make a $1,000 set. What could it be?
I think they needed to make a $1,000 set, and they said, what could it be? Because I think that's how all the sets start off, is like, they're like, yeah, we need an $80 set, we need a $150 set, you know what I mean? And they obviously have to get permission from Disney or Lucasfilm to figure out what stuff they can do, what stuff they want them to do, and then they look at the designers and they're like, okay, we need a Falcon for $150, make it. So they were just like, yeah, we need a $1,000 set. We decided to pick the Death Star because we just did the Falcon, make it. And I'm sure they went through a ton of ideas. Death Star and Falcon are probably the best picks, but a $200 Death Star with no interior would be just fine. But see, that's what I mean when you say the Death Star and the Falcon are probably the best picks, because I think it's the designers and Lego, they've made it clear that they're original trilogy fans. You know what I mean? Like, that's. But again, this whole thing about only the original trilogy stuff can sell well is losing ground with me, because I see the cloners now are getting into their mid to late 20s. They all followed Clone Wars. They all followed Rebels. They all, so I just feel like it's not like a niche ship to, especially with these movies that they're going to be coming out. Like the Ghost is going to be more prevalent, So I don't know. I just hate to see them paint themselves in a corner and say, oh, well, the Death Star and the Falcon are the only two things that make sense to make. It's like, it's Star Wars, not original trilogy Star Wars. You know what I mean? And again, they made the Razor Crest. I get the Mandalorian was popular, but like good Lord. I mean,
Cody, I know there's, I did say we're on chip off at sort of 7 o'clock ish, but I sent you the StreamYard link, mate. If you want to get in it, you seem to have quite, you seem to be trying to squeeze your comments in, mate. Get in it. we haven't got long, but I feel like you could probably, you're an educated guy. Have a little look, mate, and jump on in, even if it's for sort of 10 minutes. Say your piece.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I agree, though. I mean, when you go by numbers, I guess, I just feel like, because how long is that going to last? How many years will go by and they're still like, oh, only the Death Star and the Falcon makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, they need to, start branching out a little bit more. And again, I'm wondering how many Death Stars will sell anyways, compared to like. Because think of it like this: even if you're just a normie and you're going to spend $1,000 on a set, you might recognize the Death Star more than maybe you would the Ghost. But what one would look better? Are you going off what looks better, what you think is more worth the money, or just what looks more familiar to you? I mean, I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, apparently stud legs at work. So. But Coop offers out to you as well, mate. In fact, it's not. It's open to anybody. You just got to bear in mind that you haven't got that long. So if you want to come on and say something, or you think you're going to say something that we haven't already said, or throw a few juicy bits out there, then more than welcome to come on, say your bit. I think I could probably talk about this all day.
Yeah, once I get myself rolling on something, man, it definitely. I try not to talk too much about it. Yeah, man, it's very interesting to see how. Again, I'm more curious, not just to see our takes on it and our debates or whatever about it, or takes whatever. But I'm also curious to see again what a lot of the normies think. Because this is clearly who I think they're trying to really market for, is like your niche Star Wars, audience that has like a lot of income to blow on something like that. Yeah. But I feel like we all agree it's got to look really good, man. It's got to look like it's something worth $1,000. And if they just do like a play scale set, I can't imagine anybody looking at like one of those play scale sets, and be like, yeah, that's worth $1,000, even if it looks bigger or a little more elaborate. I just don't know what they're gonna do to make it look that like it's worth it. Like I said, man, you look at the Falcon, you can see the intricacy of it, the detail, the girthiness of it. You know what I mean? Or the AT-ATs the same way. I just don't get it. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Not sure we'll get it unless I can get vouchers. Yeah, I know, right? Hey!
What's up? Can you hear me? How horrible is my audio right now?
Oh, you sound great.
Fast, yeah.
Awesome.
So you're in work, so you got to do this incognito, right?
Yeah, I'm taking a break here at work, so I'm good.
Right on.
So what you think, man? Floor's yours, mate.
I don't know. I really like that this information kind of is leaking out here this early, just because it does give us so much time before, not only just to prepare, but just to talk about it and really build ourselves up before we just get smashed down to the floor when we actually see what this thing looks like. And it's not going to live up to the. How long do you think before we see this thing? September maybe of next year.
I think they're going to do it early. I think they're going to get.
If they're smart, they'll show us at least something.
May 4th out the way. Yeah.
If they're smart, the land members will put out their reviews like in August, because, like you said, they do not want Ryan getting this like at all before any of their boys.
Right.
So I think
it's going to take some time to build.
They're going to move up the land slate, and they're probably going to move up the marketing slate. But even still, we got 6 months of building this up and trying to figure this out before we actually see it, and that could set us up for some major disappointment, I think.
Yeah, I'm already being pessimistic about it. I mean, I want to be optimistic. If it was a different type of ship or something, yeah, I mean, I would be a little more optimistic. I'd still complain about the probably price, but yeah, I don't feel like this is gonna like live up to any of our expectations. I don't even feel like it's gonna be close. But if it is, I will be the first one to say, "Hey guys, it's still overpriced, but I was totally wrong, man. They knocked this thing out the park. It looks beautiful. I don't know what they're gonna do, but." I just can't. I keep running through my head like, what could they possibly do to make that Death Star look, or even not even just for us, because we're addicted to Lego pretty much. You know what I mean? Like, it takes us a little bit to push away from it, even if we think something's ridiculous. You know, we all know the pull it has on us, or FOMO, or whatever. But a normie, that just got the income and loves Star Wars and even likes Lego. You know what I mean? Like, they look at it. Are they going to be like, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like it's going to have to be more to give a purchase, man.
Well, and like you said, like I feel like they're already kind of kneecapped with this exact selection, because as far as figs go, I mean, we were throwing out priests and one-off generals and stuff. Those are not draws of figs for like the top 0.111% or whatever, like maybe, but there's just not a whole lot you can do that hasn't been done before, short of, yeah, you're going to get some dual molded stuff. You're going to get maybe some arm printing, but I think it's going to be a hard sell fig wise. So you're going to have to compensate by 20, 25, 30 figs. And then, like we've been saying, the build has to be perfect to compensate.
But even like you just said, stuff, even if they put like the coolest fig in there or whatever, like, yeah, that's going to be an awesome thing if you're already buying the set. Like, yeah. But for the rest of us, like, even how bad we want that, like, we're not going to buy $1,000 set probably, man, just for a fig, even for a bunch of figs. It's just because even if you wanted to try and turn it around and sell them, you're not going to. That's a long ways. That's a long.
Well, we already kind of saw this be tested with the Venator. The Venator had the perfect fig that we were all wanting so badly, the Rex, and it still wasn't really enough. I feel like. For what it was. I mean, forget about the microfighter and all that BS that came after. Helmet holes aside, all that. The Rex wasn't enough, and that was like the fig that everyone wanted. That fig doesn't exist in this set, short of a George Lucas or something like that. So you're not getting any help there, I don't think.
Yeah, and that GWP was probably the worst of all time as well. So
yeah,
which didn't help. I think they are going to be relying quite heavily on this GWP as well. I think we haven't made that abundantly clear, but this GWP needs to be class as well as the set being class.
I mean, they might be informed by the barge, because that Luke Saber went crazy and people were hot and cold on the barge, but still the GWP sold out and we saw what aftermarket went. So you have to think that they at least said, oh, this GWP kind of worked in this situation. I mean, a year out from that release, I feel like they could be leaning on that a little.
How much do you think that was? How much do you think that was worked well because it was the right GWP, as in terms of it linking to the set?
I mean, do you think that a Vader Saber would not be a right GWP in the same way?
I do. I agree that if they do something that is linked with it, then they're already on the right track. But because of the site, because we've had a $500 set with a Saber, $1,000 set, you know what I mean? I was thinking more along the lines of that in terms of its value. But yeah, you're
whatever
right.
it is, it's got to be special, man. Because you're talking, look, I keep going back to it, but like $1,000, that's a magic number. Like, that's a big turning point. You better have something very special for those people that drop $1,000 on your Lego set, like on like a release day kind of thing. I just don't want to see it be figs. And I know that sounds salty, because if you're buying $1,000 set, you want something really cool like that. But no, man, if it was a different story, if they gave us figs on a different type of basis and not just in exclusive sets, or if we had a CMF series or whatever, like, that'd be different, but they screw us around all the time like that. So if they threw some crazy fig in this set, like, yeah, I would lose my goddamn mind.
I mean, I don't think Galen is too far out of an idea you guys were saying earlier, because
it's a good thing. Like, it's
like
perfect,
he goes with it, but he doesn't really go in it, right? So like that does kind of make sense.
No, that's right. So you wouldn't feel like the set is incomplete if you didn't get him.
Exactly, because like you can't put like Tarkin in the GWP and not put him in the set. like people would flip their shit if that happened. Like you can't take away from the set in order to bolster your GWP. The GWP has to be purely additive.
Well, maybe it's more than maybe it's something we're not really thinking about. Maybe they're like
black card.
No, well, that's funny. Well, it's funny to some people, maybe not other people. Maybe we're not thinking about it the right way. Maybe it's not about how many pieces or what it looks like or anything like that. Maybe it's just that it's Lego, and it's a Lego product and it's a premium product, and that's just how it is. I mean, how much does an iPhone actually cost to make?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, unless you're talking about somebody that literally sat down and sculpted something, painted a pit. But if you're talking about just, again, I always give much credit to the designer of the Lego sets or anybody that designs anything. But once you get it on a manufacturing floor, man, it's a little bit, you know, it's a little different. So maybe we're not looking at it. Maybe it's something that really would probably only be worth, you know, a few $100s, but it's Lego, so they're like, we're slapping $1,000 on this thing.
Right. I think they rounded up. Definitely, regardless of profit margins. I think they rounded up 100%.
Another question is, how deeply are they even going to look at? Like, I know day one sales is probably going to be a big thing for them that they want to do well, but this is a set that's probably going to be on shelves at least 5 years, if not 8, if not 10. Like, this isn't going away. Right. I don't think regardless of sales, I think this is sitting out there. We've seen it with the Falcon. We've seen it with the previous Death Stars. We saw what happened with the first place scale one. They retired it the next year. Mm-hmm. They basically they updated it and put it out again. Like, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Also, I misread your comment earlier in the stream stuff, like, because I do agree with you when you were saying like they'll keep doing it until people stop buying it. I just misread it because I've been in this thing lately about, which is something similar, but it's not the same statement. That's why I misread it when I was like, yeah, I disagree. But I do agree that, yeah, once, you know, they see sales dropping, then they're going to have to really start like turning the ship in a different direction. But the problem is they're not going to revert their prices.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to try and plateau somewhere. I think Ryan said something about like that too. Like, they're not going to decrease the price.
It's never coming back down.
Yeah, but we can't keep going at this pace. So I think they might try and just plateau for a while until everybody else can kind of catch up or something. Because I think they can't keep doing this, dude.
No, the main point I think is we haven't. Maybe we're nearing the tipping point. Mm-hmm. I mean, guys like you, guys like me, maybe we've slowed down and maybe narrowed our focus on what we actually going to pick up. But I think as far as widespread consumer, I mean, Lego is such a big chunk of the market of toys nowadays. Mm-hmm. They're not slowing down.
Well,
and until those sales dip, then maybe they pause for a few years before each year getting more and more expensive.
Also, I think they've peaked. Not mock builders. I don't think mock builders are even close to peaking yet. But Lego, the company, I think they've peaked because they're not going to get too more intricate. You know, because obviously the pricing and stuff like that, you know, because we always want like more detailed stuff or this or that. But obviously, you know, like even like printed or molded stuff, like, you know, because, you know, I remember I used to look at custom companies. I'm like, man, how the hell can the custom companies make this stuff? I know that they're more expensive per se, but it's because they do it on a smaller scale. But anyways, they're not going to go back, you know. So I think, that's what's going to happen, man. They're just going to play a plateau for a while until they figure something out.
And not only that, but go ahead, Sid.
I think we're at the end of the COVID wave that they've been riding. Mm-hmm. I think we're starting to kind of dip out of that. People who are into it obviously are starting to maybe get out, move on to other things. So they saw obviously a massive explosion from that. I think we're getting far enough out now that that's not really going to play into their.
And I think everybody's
success.
Pretty honest. I think everybody's pretty honest about saying like, look, Lego is definitely premium when it comes to like the building blocks, you know, for toys and stuff like that. That's not the case, you know, just like we admit, like, I'm like a Lamborghini is a premium car. It's like nobody just disregards like these aren't premium things. It's just like a lot of people are being like, well, I'm either starting to scale back or I just can't do that anymore. You know, if I'm a parent and groceries are too high or whatever the case, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then the COVID thing, like riding, you know, getting off that wave now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just wonder how they're going to handle stuff, man, because dude, they're putting out almost 1,000 sets a year. You know, we've obviously seen the prices, then they've expanded into games. And look, I've mentioned this the other night about how they're really reminding me of 20 some years ago when they kept making dumbass mistakes and spending too much money on stuff that wasn't really relevant and this and that. And what happened? They almost went bankrupt. And I mean, I'm worried because, it's like they've bought these factories. They've almost like been pushing like they are staying in the COVID area. And now stuff is like we're seeing this shrinkflation type thing happening where people are either scaling back or whatever. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see like the overall thing.
I think it's quite an interesting point as well, because I was speaking to somebody about, they won't do another $1,000 set for a while. And I'm thinking, well, no, you've got to bear in mind that in a couple of years' time, I don't know, maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10 years, what would have been an $800 set will be the $1,000 set.
Because technically we already have gotten our first $1,000 set inflation adjusted.
Yeah.
We've gotten two already. So
two, yeah.
But I think, in terms of a tipping point, it's funny really, because this goes directly against what you just said, Hive. But I think where they go next would be to start competing with some of these people who have started to, I'll use Funhole as an example, and I'm not looking at Funhole and planning to buy any sets, but I am seeing right across the community more people sort of dabbling in that. And I think we can establish that the figs can't be touched right now. But there's a lot of companies that are doing these kind of figures, so they need to up their game on figures, which I think they've done quite a margin over the years. And also like lighting sets. So obviously we've seen a few sets now that I think they're going to dabble more in that and start to kind of branch out into sort of more themes. I think they're just going to again completely opposite to what you just said, where they think they got their fingers in too many pies. I think they're going to start looking at their competition a little bit more. Even
if they do what you're saying too, it's like, look, over the years now they've been raising their to absurd prices, increasing the prices. They're dumbing down their sets, you know what I mean, where they're getting smaller or less pieces. We've seen this in comparison, not just in Star Wars, but also in like Marvel and everything else, even Harry Potter and stuff. So they're dumbing down their sets. They're increasing the prices to absurd prices. Then we've got to deal with, they're competing with the economy being shitty or whatever else. Wages not keeping up with like all these inflation type prices and stuff. And now you've got not just regular competition. Now you've got serious competition, because like this Funhole and like Fantasy and stuff, like they're gaining traction, man. I was talking about this the other night. Like they're gaining a lot of traction, and a lot of us, we're seeing it more and more in the community on Instagram. I'm seeing their ads more and more, and people are loving it because they're crazy good builds. Now the minifigs suck ass, but like they're crazy good builds. Then they got lights incorporated in them.
And a lot of the Funhole sets I've noticed don't even come with figures. So I think, if they're smart, they'll just cut that. They'll say, look, we can't dabble in this. There's no point. Let's just cut them out and do things like Jen builds. I think she did the other day a live stream, and she was talking about the kind of steampunk London Bridge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's iconic across the world, but that looked like a fantastic set. They're available right across the world. And then obviously even Ryan's been dabbling in some of the what do they call it, fantasy. And I've seen like even the way the fantasy is packaged. It's the only kind of brick company that I've seen where the packaging probably beats Lego in terms of how well it's packaged and how what an aesthetic there is to that. So I think Lego needs to start kind of opening, taking the blinkers off a little bit and starting to see these people sort of run alongside them.
The thing is, I don't think Lego will do it. I think Lego has got their head shoved so far up their fucking ass and think they're so goddamn fucking great and their shit don't fucking stink and they're the best thing since fucking sliced bread. They're not gonna fucking like be like, oh, we're gonna lower our standards and try and be the same as these other guys. Like they're just gonna think that no, we're us, we're better than them, and if we start losing sales, then we're just gonna, because it feels like they're really Lego
hubris.
Hubris, yeah. But it feels like they're in different levels of like class now, man. Like if you make this amount of money, you can buy this Lego set. You're not really gonna be able to buy this. Like even for me, when I was making the best money I've ever made, which is I was making really good money. Like these are about as far as I was. I don't have the Falcon. I didn't get the AT-AT. Like those were a little further out of my price range, man. And I feel like now like $1,000 is gonna be a little further out of maybe some other people's price range. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But with the competition coming, man, I think it's just a lot of us are going to be like, yeah, we just don't really have a choice. We still love building stuff. I still want a city. And then, like I said, your average parent, when they see a Funhole set, like half the price of a Lego set, and they just know their kid just wants to build with blocks, like, okay, I'll get you a cheap Marvel figure from some other toy, and then you can have this for a building set. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, man.
Interesting. Okay. But yeah, I mean, is there anything we haven't covered? I think we've kind of done justice.
Yeah. I'm sure there's probably more stuff we could probably think about, but
last chance, guys, in the comments, questions for us or questions you don't think we've covered, points you want to make, and if not, we're going to close her out, I think.
What's up, Joel?
Joel, how's it going, mate? Joel, quick plug. Joel, what time are you going live tonight? 24 days of streaming through Christmas.
Yeah.
The Advent stream, building a Home Alone house in aid of charity, Mind Charity, over on Joel's Bricks. Please go and give it a like, go and give it a sub, and obviously jump on there if you can. Hive, you joined on our stream recently, right?
Yeah, I was trying to see if I might have some free time this week. Jump back on. I'm still trying to get my schedule figured out.
The reason I haven't been able to, Joel's, I've tried to pop in the chat as best I can, but it's because Kirsty comes home round about 7-8 o'clock-ish, and it's the only time we get together with it being Christmas. And obviously being home alone all day, you're looking to interact with real people. No offense to any of you guys. But so I just think, but she's working late Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week, where she's going to be home like 10, 11 o'clock. So I'll definitely be involved then as best I can. But 8:45 tonight. So there you go, guys. Please go and show them some love over there. But yeah, Joel's, anything you want us to cover? I know obviously you haven't seen everything we've already covered, but what's your thoughts on this $1,000 UCS set? Or this
would have been great if they just skipped 1,000. Or just like, it's our first $2,000. They're like, we're so pretentious. We skipped 1,000.
I hope they priced it at $1,000.99 just so that it's above 1,000, because it's going to be $9.99. It's not really going to be 1,000, but I want them to acknowledge that it's not 1,000 yet, and I want them to push it up that extra dollar.
Actually, yeah. If it's $1,000 here, it wouldn't be $1,000 like over there. I mean, I know we talked about the perception of stuff, but technically, like the price.
Yeah, about 850. That's why I haven't really kind of sold into that topic as such. The whole $1,000 set, the £1,000 set, but no, I think the idea is still there, that it's still a behemoth in terms for us. That's still,
right,
£150, £200 above the last most expensive set for UCS, regardless, and it's still kind of a landmark for Lego. But
that's a good way to look at that, Joel. The price of 5 Lego modulars. So imagine the girthiness and detail you get out of 5 Lego modulars, man. And that Death Star better be rocking my socks off, dude.
But
maybe it will. Maybe it will. Maybe it will just be the most awesomest set we've ever seen. We're like, okay, maybe it might be worth $1,000.
But yeah, am I right in saying you're in the same lane as me, Hive, which is that I'm more than happy to, because my idea of it has kind of gone like this a little bit. But I have no intention of buying it no matter how good it is, right? Because I don't buy UCS as a rule. I haven't got the space, and I would much rather buy 5, 10, 20 even smaller sets that I need or would want, or in the retired sets, than I would buy one big set, So, and I'll put that out there. So I'll never buy it, never intend on buying it. But that doesn't mean I can't sit here and respect it, prop it up, be positive about it. And I'm not a reviewer. I don't do that kind of thing. But I'm still trying to see both sides of it. I'm more than happy to see both sides of it. So are you in that lane, or do you think you're in the lane of if it really blows your socks off, you'll go for it?
No, I'm not. I mean, look, if money wasn't an option and it was really, really awesome and looked good and stuff, yeah, maybe. But I'm like the Razor Crest, that's one of my favorite ships in Star Wars. I love that thing so much. They did such a good job on that, but I'm still kicking myself in the balls for paying $600 for that thing, dude. Like, it's insane. Yeah. I forgot I paid that much. I was shaming myself on a Pure Rant Fury a few weeks back about like how much I paid for that thing, because it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous, and it's girthier than the gunship. But I feel like the gunship was way cheaper than the Razor Crest. I don't know. So yeah,
Stud, where do you sit on it? You know, is it in your wheelhouse to buy?
I will very likely buy it in 5 years for $700, whoever's discounting it. I kind of doubt the GWP is going to draw me in. I have not gone down the lightsaber collecting route, so if it does come out to be a lightsaber like I think it is, I don't have to chase that down. I don't really know what the GW would have to be for me to bite, but yeah, I'm definitely going to sit on this one, but someday I will likely have it, but it'll be at that discounted rate for sure.
You know what else would probably help them a little bit too, besides maybe a cool give a purchase and it looks good, is get like whatever 3 or 4 times double VIP points if you buy it.
Ooh,
He's got a lot of VIP points, dude.
Yeah,
10%'s $100 on that thing, man.
Right?
Crazy.
Okay, so look, guys, appreciate your time. Gonna close it out. My feet and my ass are getting sweaty. I'm getting swamp ass here. But yeah, I really appreciate Hive last minute to jump on and kind of give it that credibility boost for us is really helpful. And hopefully you had a chance to get that kind of fire out of the garage, out of the basement that I felt like you were holding back. But Stud, yeah, again, thanks for joining on last minute and giving us those extra set of views. But yeah, it's interesting to see where we go with this, guys. So carry on hitting the comments. Let us know what you think. And obviously, hopefully one day we can look back at this stream and say, you know, who hit the nail on the head? You know, maybe they'll prove us all wrong. But
I'm sure we'll have more probably stuff to discuss about it as well as time goes on, especially once we start finding out more stuff as well. So, but yeah, thanks again, Luke, for having me on, man. It was good talk, good discussion. It's always nice, man, hearing other people's opinions about it and an actual discussion, not just, you know, me just spitting off stuff. So, and the chat was great, man. Chat, you guys, man, you guys was
blowing up.
Dude, you guys brought it with the comments and everything. Really good stuff. Like a lot of the comments, like Stud before he jumped in the panel, but like Stud had good comments out there too, man. Just good stuff, man. I like it when everybody makes us think about things, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I thought I'd considered everything, but you know, until you get the extra heads in, hopefully they'll make it float. Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming it doesn't mean on water.
That would make me consider buying it, man. If they could make it float, I'd be like, yeah, man, it's some magnetic technology or something. Man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Magnets and strings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, look, appreciate it, chat. Appreciate it. Hit the like, subscribe if you haven't already. Obviously, yeah, like I said, keep banging those comments out. And yeah, see you guys on the next one. So just kind of put the volume up on this to play us out. And catch you later, guys.
All right. Yeah. Peace out, everybody.